Hey, welcome to yet another week. I don't know what side Chris is on, what side I'm on.
Yeah.
Chris and I are traveling for the past 2 weeks. No, 3 weeks. I'm
2 weeks for me.
I've been at conferences for 3 weeks, cyber conferences for 3 weeks. It's time to go home. And
Well, the worst part is we were together last week, but I'm a crazy person, and I decided to leave one place and fly to another at 4:00 in the morning. So
that's right. So you had three confereners too.
yeah, three conferences in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So we just want to kind of give you guys an update. So last week it was more about there's cybersecurity at the beginning part. I finished with the compliance conference because it's something that's really important to me right now. Like, we're trying to help companies make sure that they're being compliant with like FTC safeguards and other compliance things like HIPAA, CMMC, things like that. So that was important to me. So I actually left the first conference, went to the second conference, and then this week we're at a different type of conference.
But there was a huge extension of that because I did get to meet with the legal team specifically around FTC compliance.
That's true, yeah.
So
and insurance experts
and the insurance experts. So all this is all overlapping, and the guy this week was like pretty much expanded on what Chris and I talked about a few months ago with the attorney around FTC compliance really is going to hit hard. There's already some legislation out there. There's some enforcement out there. But the other thing that we want to really talk about right now is make sure that the apps that are being used are safe. There was one of the speakers came up and showed us about the Saturn app, which is Saturn. No, we're not talking about the planet.
Rings there.
Saturn is another social media app that's being used by high school students to really share their schedules and do things. Well, here's the problem: they didn't do a lot of validation for people getting in, and one of the security researchers pretended just to be a student, and he got in and was able to say he went to a school and get schedule information and figure out where people are. People are like, well, what's the big deal?
I mean, plenty of us want I don't have kids, but like if you have like a teenager and stuff like that, do you really want like say a 40-year-old man being able to see where your kids are? And that's really what came about that. So they don't have good validation. It's something that's important. So yeah, we've been all over the board. One of the things that I did learn though from FTC, well, I didn't really learn it per se, but what they really do reinforce is the risk is the business that falls under the FTC safeguards. So you can choose a designated individual if you need to. And there was some legislation, there was some wording in the FTC safeguards. They talked that you need a CISO, which, a typical CISO costs anywhere between $200,000 and $350,000 per year. So small businesses couldn't afford that. So they kind of stripped that out. But you still need a designated individual. And they are very specific about the risk does not transfer to that individual. You don't just push this off on them. They're there to guide you. And that's the one thing that we've talked about a lot, is about guiding companies through this either compliance journey or security journey or even just IT journey. We're more of a guide. And yeah, sure, we say to do things, but we're trying to guide you in the right direction. We're not trying to tell you what to do, because at the end of the day, the decision's yours and the risk is yours.
And the other thing that came out of that FTC presentation was, like Chris said, the risk isn't getting transferred to the individual, isn't getting transferred to the service provider. It's staying with this in a lot of cases with the CEO of the company, and it's following that company. There was a time where
follow the CEO.
Right. There was a time where the CEO would have an incident that moved to another company. Well, and then it'd start over fresh. Well, now there's 10 years. I think they said it was 10 years of follow through of that of FTC investigations and documentation that follow this CEO wherever he happens to go.
Yeah, so they have to do like a big time security overhaul if they hire him as a CEO. So for a lot of people, that's going to be a death knell to their career.
Absolutely.
And there's talk that the FTC is going to take over HIPAA fines. Same thing. If you're a doctor and you're just being negligent with HIPAA, there's a chance they could actually take your license. They might be able to ban you from ever being a doctor again. So protecting consumer data it's not really a story of the hour, but it's something that's so important. And you're going to see a lot of legislation come down from this. And it's very important that you as a business owner or if you work inside of a business and you can help make decisions, it's really important to understand that if you have data on people, they're going to come after you at some point. And the chances that they could ruin your career, put you in jail, fine the company on top of that, even if the board of directors are talking about fines. So
and that data doesn't necessarily have to be current data. A lot of people have, a lot of business we talk to, they've got data that's sitting out there, sitting on shared drives that the entire company has access to. There's no encryption on it. There's no auditing to know who's there. They wouldn't even know if it's gone.
FTC Safeguard says if you're not a customer anymore and you haven't done business with this person, if it doesn't violate another law like tax law or something like that, you have to delete the data within 2 years. And you have to identify that. So if you're just hoarding data on people for 15, 20 years, also that data that you're hoarding counts as the records in there. And there's a $5,000 consumer record limit for like a couple of things that you don't have to do. But like a lot of companies that would say, hey, I don't have 5,000 active records. Yeah, well, go check what's in your system because you may.
And that's something we'd find on an assessment.
Hopefully. I mean, as long as people are they haven't switched systems and they don't tell us about other stuff. So the responsibility still is yours. So being honest with somebody that's doing an assessment is important because we need to identify like how many records you have and what is the actual risk and impact to the business if something happens. And data privacy laws in each state are different. So not just FTC will come after you. The state that you're in will come after you. The states where you have customers can come after you. There's a lot of risk in this. And, and for us, there's risk in our business too, because when we help companies, there's so much risk for us. Cyber insurance companies are kind of putting screws to us as well. But
cyber brings up a good point. A lot of people we talk to they might have a business policy, and the policy says they've got $10,000 worth of cyber insurance, which isn't enough. And we really want to help people and educate and help people understand that they need a cyber policy no matter what their business is really. And we recommend it, but the ultimate decision is the business owner, and work with your insurance agent.
And to kind of wrap this up, I think like Bob and I spend a lot of time talking. We spend a lot of time at conferences, things like that. We want to be as educated as we can be about everything. This all starts with strategy. So if you're a business owner, if you're somebody out there that's struggling, don't just go buy a bunch of tools and just try to get them to work. Actually think through the strategy portion of it. Talk to somebody that's an expert and really talk about the strategy that you want for your business, because you need to discover the things like if you actually have to follow FTC safeguards, you need to kind of get that up front, because that's going to dictate a lot of the things that need to happen, because a lot of this is administrative controls. So it's like policies and procedures in your business, how you treat data, how you classify data, how you destroy data, things like that you can't just go buy a tool for that. That's heavy lifting. It's work in your business. It's work with somebody in your business that's going to have to be that data owner. And it's not sexy. It's probably not even considered fun, but it's something that's important because, look, we're here to help small businesses, lifeblood of the world, honestly.
Yep.
I mean, there's plenty of big businesses out there that can hire a bunch of people, but, we want to help small businesses. We want to help mid-sized companies and protect people that are working and stuff like that. And we don't want you to get fined and, go out of business for whatever reason.
You're going to be presenting. You're going to be sponsoring at a small business conference in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, one on financial literacy, basically. So, I'll probably talk more about that later. But I'll be there. I'm not going to be on the stage. I'm just going to be talking. I have a table, I guess, is what you call it. But that's something that's important to me. It's important to my wife, and it's important to my entire company. So,
I've got a couple of things lined up with New Jersey Board of Education, New Jersey Board of Education Business Administrator Conference. So we'll definitely be on the road, and we have to get going to today's events. So we'll catch everybody next week. If anyone wants to reach out to us, talk more about FTC or risk assessments, just DM us or comment below. And as always, we want people to be safe, but we also want to know what people want to hear about. So put something in you want to hear about. Otherwise, we're going to hear about Chris and I ranting again. I mean, you can put anything you want to talk about the new iPhone that comes out sometime here in September. We can talk about that too. So, and one thing we didn't talk about, we are in Dallas, Texas right now, and it is
very hot. Yeah, I'm not built for this. I'm from from the north. I can handle it, but like, no, this is too hot for me. So everybody stay cyber safe. There's a lot of news out there right now. Just kind of temper it and just think about strategy in your business. Make sure that you're set up well, and
Till next week, stay safe.